Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Probably because you're not a human, you're just a camera that I set up. Yeah, it's a beautiful Sunday afternoon when I'm recording this, and I just wanted to be completely authentic in my speaking. I wanted to wear my favorite hat. This hat's probably, I would say, 8 years old. It doesn't smell great. I wanted to eat some chicharrones. Chicharrones, aka pork rinds. I get these at Costco. Oh my goodness, they are the best. And I wanted to drink my favorite beverage, which is hop tea. Now, I'm not somebody who goes out on the internet and says, hey, sponsor me. I'd love to be sponsored by you and showcase your product, except for hop tea. Hop tea, if you want to sponsor me, please, please, please do so. I got a lot of great things to say about this company. Anyway, I really wanted to showcase my complete authenticity to you all. Now, you might be thinking, you look kind of slobby right now. And truth be told, I could hear your crunching of your chicharrones as you ate them. Interesting fact. And you don't even know how sloppy I actually am. This is one of my favorite shirts. It's a Rogue Fitness shirt. It's pretty old. In fact, I think I got it used and it has a few holes in it. And yet I'm being completely and absolutely authentic with you. What? I'm being authentic. This is my authentic self. Why can't I just be me while I talk? Also, these are delicious. Y'all, if you haven't had these, they're so good. And I'm doing this to prove a point. While this is 100% where I feel most comfortable, it is not my most effective communication style. Now, a lot of people struggle with authenticity, especially when they're in front of an audience. One of the comments that I consistently get is, I feel fake when I'm in front of an audience. I don't feel like my authentic self. Now, this is my second video on authenticity. Make sure that you check out my first video on authenticity, where I uncover what authenticity is and what it's not. Truth be told, if I were hired as a keynote speaker, this would be the best keynote speech outfit for me. This is where I feel the most comfortable and the most myself. But who is this comfort about? Well, it's 100% about me and not the audience. So let's talk about how to create authenticity that is for you and for your audience. And we have to start by talking about the imposter experience. A study published in the International Journal of Behavioral Science estimated that approximately 70% of individuals have experienced imposter syndrome at some point in their lives. But let's not use syndrome here. Let's use the word experience. A syndrome implies something that is very, very unique, that only impacts a small percentage of the population. However, this imposter experience is something that most leaders, and I would actually argue all leaders, have. This psychological pattern causes people to doubt their accomplishments, fear being exposed as a fraud, and can lead them to feel inauthentic in their communication. In other words, we don't think we're qualified to be authentic. We don't feel like we're qualified to speak in front of other audiences. And so we put on this mask. We put on this persona that isn't us. Keep in mind a few things. Number one, the fear of judgment from others is always going to be there, and it's actually always going to happen. Statistically speaking, about 20% of your audience will automatically reject you, even before you've even said a word. Now, that's a very revealing and very releasing statistic. If you know that not everybody is going to like you, why are you appealing to the people that automatically are going to reject you? Instead, it's important to appeal to the people who are open to you and open to your ideas. Now, let's talk about the research behind inauthenticity. And yes, there is research on this very feeling. The first is social identity theory. Paschal and Turner developed this theory in the 1970s, and it suggests that individuals classify themselves into social groups. As they see those social groups, their norms, their standards, their rules in front of them, they start to adapt their personality to be part of that group. Now, this isn't necessarily wrong. We always look at a group, establish what the group's values are about, and see if we align. However, too often do we align with the group even if it is against our own strengths and values. So we create this persona where our personalities match the norms and values of the group itself, but they aren't really us. Or it may be something that we align with, but we don't express it in our own unique way. We simply express it the same way that the group expresses that value. That leads us to feeling inauthentic, even when we are in a space that our values align. The second theory is self-monitoring theory. Psychologist Mark Snyder developed this theory, and it says this: individuals regulate their behavior based on social cues. Now again, this is completely natural and something that is incredibly effective for us to do. However, if that self-monitoring doesn't align with our authentic self and our values, then we're going to have that feeling of being a fraud, of being fake in front of an audience. I'll put it to you really simply. This is like the middle schooler who's trying to fit in with the cool kids, so changes their entire personality, wardrobe, language to fit in, even though they don't like that personality, language, and anything about the cool kids. They just are doing it so that they get popular. Unfortunately, that strategy doesn't end in middle school as we continue to do it throughout our lives. And when we continue to do it throughout our lives, that inauthenticity takes its toll. Finally, we have self-perception theory. This theory, developed by Darrell Brem, states that we're constantly monitoring our own behaviors. We are developing a perception of who we are in the world. And yet again, when our perception doesn't align with the perception that we think that the audience has of us, we're gonna feel inauthentic. So how do we change this? How do we embrace our authenticity while still providing a good context for our audience to embrace our message? Number one, we embrace vulnerability. Communication in any context is going to be vulnerable. You're always opening up yourself to rejection, ridicule, and judgment. And yet, that vulnerability, that openness to being rejected, ridiculed, and judged pales in comparison to the impact that you can have. In other words, if people are going to reject you, let them reject you. Speak to those that are open to your message, even if you experience the pain of that rejection. Number two is develop self-awareness. I think if I had to narrow down the focus of my entire mission, it would be that. Develop self-awareness. The more we are aware of our strengths and weaknesses, of our desires and fears, of our habits and our personality, the more we are able to adjust to what we feel is most authentic and how we can adjust that authenticity to deliver a message and impact to an audience. And finally, seek feedback. But listen, don't seek feedback from people who are going to pat you on the back and applaud you and telling you you're doing such a great job. I'm not discrediting the need for cheerleaders in your life. I need cheerleaders. We all need cheerleaders. We all need those encouragers to be able to speak to us, especially when our confidence is down, and remind us of how great we are. However, sometimes that positive feedback doesn't help us grow. Find people in your life that are courageous enough, that care enough about you to deliver the message that you're not being as effective as you think you are being. Now, that feedback never feels great. It never feels great. And if you've been coached by anyone in any context, you understand that. But it's that type of feedback that helps you grow and develop in your efficacy as a communicator and helps you evaluate, is this strategy authentic to me, or am I trying to create a persona just for the need to be liked? Look, public speaking and communication are always going to have some sense of inauthenticity. If I could deliver every one of my keynotes like this, I would be such a happy camper. Now, this is a cute gimmick for a YouTube video, but it would not be an effective communication strategy if I was in front of a live audience. And I'm going to be real with you. There are times when I'm about to speak, either in person or virtually, and I don't really want to. Y'all, I'm a human being just like you. I have my own fears and desires and obstacles. In fact, I was walking into a facilitation a few weeks ago and I got a message about my kids. They were fine, everything was a-okay, but it was something that I needed to deal with. This was 10 minutes before I had to facilitate. And if you know anything about me, I am a incredibly passionate father. And so where does my mind go? It goes immediately to worrying about my children. What are we going to do about this situation? How am I going to talk to them about this? What are the next steps? But I had a responsibility first to my audience because this situation wasn't urgent. It wasn't an emergency. They were completely safe. They were not in any sort of danger whatsoever. It was just something that I needed to deal with after the fact. And the first 10 minutes of that facilitation felt fake. It felt fake because I was suppressing my worry. I was suppressing my spinning thoughts about my kids. I was suppressing those things intentionally. If I had been truly authentic, I would have just said, oh, this thing happened with my kids and I'm so mad about it. I'm so upset about it and I'm so confused about it and I don't know what I'm going to do. And oh my goodness. Oh yeah, by the way, let's talk about public speaking. So yeah, it felt fake for me, those first 10 minutes. But I kept the focus of my intention in mind. And my focus and my intention was to serve the audience. And as those thoughts started to dissipate, as my brain figured out, hey, this is a situation we can work through later on, then my focus got reshifted into my audience and I was able to be authentically me in front of them. I said it before and I'll say it again, authenticity does not come naturally. It comes with a lot of work. If you want to continue this discussion on authenticity, make sure that you subscribe as I incorporate authenticity in all of my content on communication, confidence, and storytelling. I hope you are having a fantastic day as I am. I hope you are enjoying a delicious hot tea and maybe some chicharrones. And until next time, make sure that you come off mute, speak up your story.